my TikTok live. So like y'all remember I told y'all I was gonna be going live on TikTok for the in person. So I am doing that now. I'll be live today and tomorrow. Today we will be talking about childhood trauma. So hey y'all. Today's topic, like I just said, is healing our childhood trauma, and it is a very sensitive topic for me. I really did not want to talk about it. I've been avoiding it for so long. For how long I had this podcast? Like a year. I've been avoiding it for a year, but it's a part of the healing process. And if we want to heal, then we got to talk about these things. We got to have the uncomfortable conversations. So today I will be telling my story about my childhood and just ways that I'm healing from it, grieving from things that needed to be grieved from. And yeah, so a disclaimer. I'm telling my story from the way I felt in the past, what was done in the past. All these things are past tense, so there is no hard feelings in today's time, but it is something that needs to be talked about so I can heal from it and grow from it. And because sometimes we go through things and we don't know that we need to heal from them because we just think, oh, that's just my mama, or that's just my dad. Like we brush off the things that we go through, and no, we have to address them. So this is a disclaimer. It's no hard feelings, no bad, nothing. I have amazing parents. I have great parents. My mom and my dad are amazing. They did the best that they can with what they knew, and they still had things that they didn't know that they needed to heal from. So they're both in way better places now than they was when I was a little girl. And even so, yeah, my parents are amazing. The relationship I have with them then is not the same I have with them now. Even with my sisters, with my family in general, we're just like in a better place. But the past did happen. The past needs to be acknowledged, and it will be acknowledged because I'm not the one to act like, oh, I just had like flowers and rainbow life. But I'm also not the one to act like my life was just all bad and I had to dig in trash cans to eat because that's not my reality. But some stories probably don't be as accurate because I did try to block out a lot of the things that I've been through growing up as a little girl, to try to protect my heart and to try to protect my mind, because that's something that we do. Even when we don't know that we're doing it, our mind tries to protect us by erasing events. Well, not even erasing them, but burying them deep, 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 so that you won't hurt as much. But now I'm in a place in my life where I'm trying to remember them so I can release them instead of letting them hold this significant hold on my life. Most of my childhood traumas stem from the fact that I felt as if I didn't have a voice. What I said mattered. I didn't grow up in a house where talking freely was a thing. Like, it was very much not something that we did. Like, I wasn't able to just say what was on my mind. No, that was not happening. So, growing up, it was me, my mom, my two sisters that lived in the house, and my dad. So my two sisters came from one dad, and then I had my own dad, which my mom and my dad was married. So my mom and dad was married from the ages of when I was 2 till my 8th grade year, going into my freshman year in high school. I believe. Yeah, I believe. I believe that's the year he left. Yeah. So, growing up, living with my mom, my sisters, and my dad was, it wasn't all bad, but it definitely played, it definitely wasn't good. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm trying to, it wasn't all bad, but it was some traumatic things that happened. Um, for one, my two sisters, they came from the same dad. So my mom and my daddy did not like each other growing up. They could not stand each other. And I was a product of both of them. So I sometimes got the backlash from them not too much caring for each other because my mom, I feel like my mama saw me as my dad's daughter, and my daddy was just trying to drink his problems away, if I'm being honest. He's trying to drink his problems away. Cheating, didn't like my mama either, so I never was exposed to what love even looks like. Because my mom and my dad was going through their things, and I feel like when you're in a household where parents don't love each other, it's hard for them to show you what love look like and what it feels like, because you lead by example on what you're showing. And my mom or my daddy is not affectionate people. They don't. I never slept in the bed with my mom. I never. Well, from what I remember, when I was a baby, probably, but growing up, I never really. It wasn't no hugs, no I love yous. It was nothing like that. My mom love language is gift giving. So she would try to buy me things after like yelling at me or whooping me or doing something like that. She would try to buy me things, and I didn't want that. And as far as my daddy was, my mom really is the one that raised me, because my dad, he was there, but he wasn't there because mentally he was not there. Like he was drinking, he was out all hours of the night, so he wasn't really there. So I speak more on my mom, and because me and my mom relationship was terrible growing up. I was a daddy's girl growing up. Me and my mom didn't start getting close until I tried to take my own life. And that's when the switch happened. That's when I was able to talk. That's when I was able to, and that was my sophomore year of high school. That's when we was able to grow a connection. That's when we was able to talk to each other. But from my sophomore year of high school going back, I was basically alone in my heart. Because I just didn't have nobody. If I'm being honest, I just didn't have nobody. My sisters, and then I had two sisters, like, okay, I was the butt of the joke in the house. My mom always called my name. Like, one of my sisters had a child, and that baby, the only name he knew was mine. He only knew my name. Like, his first words was not mama. It was not dad. It was Shamaya. Shamaya. People my age was struggling to say my name, but he was calling me Shamaya at the age of like 10 months. I'm like, that was sad. That's how much my name was called at the house. And then like my other sisters were closer because at my mom's house, baby, in the wintertime, my mom would cover up the windows and have the heat on. I say heat on hell. It was crazy hot in the house. And in the summertime, we can have the air on. So my sisters were able to leave the house and go to their dad's house. I couldn't leave and go nowhere because my mom and my dad, they was married. So I had to, I feel like, suffer in a way. And my mom just liked it hot, and that, but we didn't have a say so to say like, hey, can you not put the plastic around my room because I get hot? Or, like we just, that was just something we had to endure as children. And I speak about it because it's something that I still am traumatized by to this day. The wintertime just basically is coming to an end here in Chicago. And I literally had my heat. I did not want to turn the heat on. I did not want to turn the heat on. Only when it got like negative, I turned the heat on because I like it cold. Because I can't do Like, I'm so traumatized, I haven't been able to have that luxury in so long. Because to me, that's a luxury. To be able to pick if you want to be hot or cold. To me, that's a luxury. And so, I'm like, I need to work on this, because I shouldn't go in a place and freak out because the heat is on. Is like, I shouldn't have to freak out. But that's something that I'm traumatized by from when I was a little girl. So I just think it's important to know that things did affect you, and things like just as little, something as little as that. Like, most people will look at that and be like, "Girl, it's heat or this," but it's like, no, because it affected me mentally. The littlest things can affect you, and I'm pretty sure my mom didn't even know that she was affecting me mentally, but it's what happened. So yeah, and then I don't know. It's just when you just not in a house that's surrounded by love, it can really just take a toll on you. Period. Like, growing up in grammar school, we still back in my grammar school and my high school days. I was in special ed. They was taking me from my classroom to the classroom people with disabilities. And that's why I feel like I work with people with disabilities now, because I understand them. I understand them. I don't understand regular humans, and now I understand why God had me there. But when I was a little girl, you have to understand, I'm getting bullied. I'm getting taken out of my classroom, and I'm getting put in the classroom with these children who I'm teaching him how to freaking show me which what game he want to play on his iPad so he can freaking play the game. And then they sending me back to my regular class and wondering why I don't know how to do long division, wondering why I can't do the spelling bee words, because I'm not learning these things. And y'all wonder why I keep falling behind and behind and behind, and I didn't have nobody to speak up for me. If I'm being honest, my sister, I think they put her in it for like a couple of months, but then my mom took her out of it. My mom spoke up for her, and I just feel like I didn't have nobody to do that for me. Not my mama or my daddy. Nobody spoke up for me. And I've always tried to ask them, like, hey, what's my disabilities? But don't ask them that. Every time I ask, hey, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. And my dad used to just say, well, you'll understand when you're older. You'll understand when you're older. And the older I got, nobody told me. I did not understand. I was in special ed. They had me in special ed from when I was I think in second grade, or probably even before that, until my senior year of high school. And then in my senior year of high school, they was like, oh, you don't need this. Do you want us to take you off it? And I was like, I've been asking y'all to take me off of it for years, because it was affecting my learning. Like, y'all can't even tell me why y'all have me on it, first off. Second off, I'm not learning nothing in these classrooms. Better yet, I'm being taken away from learning. I don't know my timetables, because while they doing timetables, y'all taking me out the classroom to do dang, I can't even talk. Adding and subtracting. They doing their own timetables. I'm adding and subtracting. I'm playing games all day. I'm not getting, the education that everybody else is getting. And then y'all like, oh, well, she keep falling behind. Well, what the fuck else do you expect to happen? I'm not learning the things that y'all are teaching. So what do you expect? What do you expect? So it was just like, growing up, I just felt like I was alone, and and I'm like just thinking back on it, and it really be like the littlest things, like when Barack Obama and Michelle got put in the office. They was giving us that nasty old lunch food that she wouldn't be caught dead eating, her or her kids. That food was disgusting. And they gonna have the nerve, the audacity to put it inside of the lunchrooms and expect us to eat it. And I wasn't eating that stuff. And I asked my mom and my dad if if I can take lunches, I couldn't take no lunch to school. So I didn't eat. Because I wasn't eating that. That stuff was disgusting. I wasn't eating that, and when I got, and I fell like into a deep depression as a little girl. I was depressed. I used to be in my room for days and did not eat. I didn't want to eat because at school and going to school, I went to school in the city, but I lived in the suburbs. So I did not have friends. I didn't have time to make friends. Um, so to I had friends, but going to the school in the city, I went with all my cousins and the kids that we grew up with in the city. But I would leave from school there, and then I would come home in the suburbs. And I did not know nobody. I did not have no friends. I feel like I just didn't have no room to be a child growing up. Like even when I was in the city, everything that everybody else did, I wasn't allowed to do. And I could have snuck and did it. Like the people across the street from my grandma's house, they had a trampoline. And I was told I better not be on that trampoline. I better not get caught on that trampoline because I was going to get a whooping. So while everybody else was jumping, I'll probably be standing at the bottom because my mom told me I better not get on that trampoline. And I was never like a bad child, but it was like I hated that I had to get up early, and 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the city, to go to school when I lived in one place. Like, y'all get what I'm trying to say? Like, and then I couldn't make, like, no friends that, my friends weren't coming to my house in no suburbs, you know? And my mama won't let me stay down there. So it was just like, I don't know. I don't really know. And I know y'all see me emphasizing my mom a lot, and that's just because that's who raised me. Like, my mom is the one who raised me, so I know she had a hard trying to raise 3 girls, going to school, going from here to there. And, so it's not like I don't know. It's not like a bashing thing, or because I don't want to make it seem like that, because I am keep mentioning my mom, and that's just because that's who, she's amazing. Now and I feel like she was doing things that she didn't even understand that she was doing because she was doing the best that she could. So everything that was being done was not intentional. It was not to purposely, I feel like she did have some bitterness in her heart, but it was never directed towards her. It was never intended for her kids. Yeah, I'm back. So we're talking about childhood trauma. Um, so yeah, my mom is the one that mostly raised me. After my mom and my dad split up, well, I'll tell y'all everything that I know. But I know that there's a lot of things that, like, from grammar school. I was I was bullied, but not really, because people knew who my family was. And like I said, I went to school with my family, so I was the butt of a couple of jokes, but I was never like, hardcore bullied. And we didn't really do that because everybody, I feel like that's why I'm so grateful now that I look back. I'm so grateful for everything that's happened. I'm grateful, regardless, good, bad, ugly, sad. I'm grateful because I realized that I was exactly where I was supposed to be through everything. Um, and like I was saying, growing up and seeing what I saw, I was never really picked on because we all had our struggles. We all had things that the other people didn't have to go through. Like everybody who I grew up with, we all acknowledged that. We all knew that. We all knew that we was in like a not the most richest neighborhood, not going to the most richest school, didn't have the most richest life, but um we had each other, honestly. So everybody that I went to grammar school with, we really looked out for each other. It was never really, and then in grammar school, I feel like I wasn't really, I was picked on because I was in that class. But also the finest boy in the school was in that class too. So everybody listened to me. So I really wasn't really picked on like that. Because it's like he in here too. Like y'all like him, why y'all can't like me? Whew. But nah. Then I went over to high school, and that's when me and my mom relationship like kind of skyrocketed, took off. Like little girl, I was a daddy's girl. From um, my sophomore year of high school to my adulthood, me and my mom has been thick as thieves. And I know sometimes though, I don't think my mom likes when I talk about my childhood because I don't think it's things that she's too proud of. But it's like we have to talk about them so we can get through them. And nobody's like, you know, judging you, but I know a lot of people, like when we try to talk to our parents about things, they shut down. And or that's not how they remember it. Because we have to remember that everybody would, so both of us can experience the same um encounter, but it does not mean that that is our reality. So that means that is not what happened in our eyes and in our book. So what I know that happened and what she know that happened could be two different things because that is our reality. That's what happens when we all live in our own reality of things. Like people be like, man, we could be sitting right next to each other, but it can be totally two different experiences that we're having. I can be having the time of my life. You can be having the worst time of your life, like, and we will never know, you know. So I just think that that's where the disconnect comes with me and my mom. And even with my dad, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, because now me and my mom was like real close, and I've had a rocky relationship with my dad after he left. Because my dad was my best friend. He used to call me Cinderella. And because he saw, you know, the things that I was going through as a little girl. But the beauty about this as well is, you know, you have your mom, you have your dad. This is why I think it's so important to be aware. Because what I got from my dad is, so, okay, let me rephrase this. My dad, he would call me Cinderella, and he would basically like just tell me that everything, like, you know, is gonna be okay. And like when I get older, that was the best he had for me when I was a little girl, and that's, I feel like, is what I needed to stay strong and whatever. But when he left, our relationship started to go, like, you know, like drift apart and whatever, until like just recently, honestly. But you know, as a little girl, I feel like where my dad failed me is he did not speak up for me. But I realized that I think it's important that a child have their mother and their father in their life, whether they're together or not, because and to acknowledge these childhood traumas, because I see exactly where, you know, where the trauma is. Like my mom, I know my mom is not patient. And my dad, he don't know his voice. Like he's not in tune with his voice and know that it matters. So they both gave me that. That is what now I have both. You know, I'm impatient at times, and for the longest, my voice has been like I'm not able to talk. So now what I'm doing now is I'm breaking them patterns, and I'm breaking them curses that was given to my mom and my dad and placed on me. So in order for me to do that, though, I have to acknowledge everything that has happened, past, present, and future. Well, past and present. I don't know about the future, but I have to prepare myself for it, and even, you know, the present. So yeah, yeah. But the trauma is, it's inevitable, everybody goes through it. Because like I've said a million trillion times, we are put in this world to evolve. And we cannot evolve if we do not go through these certain things. We have to go through pain. We have to go through heartbreak. We have to feel joy. We have to feel love. We have to feel compassion. And it's, heartbreaking as it is, the more you go through in life, because the tests and the trials are going to be hard and they're going to hurt, and the trauma is going to feel like you don't like why, but at the end of the journey, it's going to all make sense. And even when you get to, and I wouldn't even say at the end of the journey, because as you progress on through the journey, more and more things starts to make sense. Like my dad told me, you older. And I'm just now finding out. I'm just now, not even finding out, because nobody still told me why did they have me in there. But I understand now why God allowed it to happen. That is my calling. I work with people with disabilities, and I take pride in being their voice, because I understand them more than I understand anybody. I don't understand people. I do not understand people. I think people are mean. I can go on and on about how I feel about people, but people with disabilities, I look at them as angels. God sent them here to test us and things. So when I speak to them, it's on a whole nother, I understand them like very clearly. Like I remember when I first started working at my job that I'm working at, I was just having a conversation with one of my residents, and his voice is kind of like, you have to be listening to him to understand him. And we were just having a flat out conversation. And the maidens came and he said, you understand what he said? I said, yeah, he just told you to da-da. He's just like, wow, that's like amazing. And I'm like, all you have to do is listen. He's talking normally. We just have to listen. We have to want to listen to them. And so I take pride in that, and I love that, and I feel like that is my calling too, because I may not have the most money, but I'm rich with the love that they give me. They give me unconditional love. Sometimes I come up there and I have a bad day, and the love that they give me is so rich, They even tell me, like, you having a bad day, like, what's wrong with you? And I'll be like, ooh, like I yelled at something, huh? And they be like, yeah. I'm like, oh, sorry. But I'm like, y'all stressing me out a little bit. I'm already stressed out, so. And I never have to worry about, I tell them all my business. I sit up there and I tell them all my business, and I never have to worry about them using it against me. Nothing. They just listen. And they be like, can I have a pop? I mean, get the pop. It's your pop. You can have whatever you want. But, I don't know. So the trauma, it don't all be bad. It's just bad in the moment. But if we learn to see it from a lighter point of view, then it gets better. And even when we have these hard conversations, because the conversation is hard to have, but it be necessary, because that's when the healing can start and the healing can take place. And another thing is, if you don't tell people what they're doing, how would they know? When I was a little girl, I feel like I could not talk to my mom. I feel like I could not talk to my dad. But now that I'm older, and sometimes like when you're still learning how to balance your emotions, you don't want to talk to your parents because they're going to take it as disrespect, or I might talk out of tone. So now that I'm older, I'm able to say, hey, I'm able to talk to them like I am their child, but still let them know, like, hey, that's not okay to do. I'm able to control my emotions so I don't speak out of turn or speak disrespectfully, because that's something that I feel like we do when we're in the moment and we're traumatized and stuff, and we want our emotions to be understood and felt. We just turn up like, I don't understand why you do it. Like, take a step back. This is still your parents. If we want them to even feel vulnerable, because you have to understand that our parents went through just as much, or probably more than us. So it's like, if you want them to put their guard down, then we have to learn how to come to them in a sense to where they feel safe to open up. Not that you're trying to blame them for everything that went wrong in your childhood, but you're trying to get them to understand you so you can understand them, so y'all can heal. All anybody want to do is heal. So, but y'all both have to be open to healing, and both have to be open to knowing, like, hey, what you did hurt me. You have to say, man, listen, I know I hurt you. This is what I was going through at the time. And so now I can put myself in your shoes. And you see, because we got to be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes. That's why I say my mom and my dad are amazing. They are great people. Go to the ends of the earth for them, and they'll do the same for me. But it does not mean that what happened didn't happen. It does not mean that it did not hurt. But we're going to take this hurt and we're going to turn it into something beautiful. Because it does not matter with the roses. Roses grow, they have all these thorns sticking out. You're going to hurt yourself picking them. But when you take them off and you form a bouquet, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I love flowers. But the thorns is going to hurt. So these conversations, even it's going to be hard to even get through the conversations. But there are conversations that need to be had so y'all both can heal. So you can evolve, so you can become the person that you were meant to be. But, yeah. Y'all like my two pom-poms? Alright though, yeah, that's all I have for today. I love y'all. I will be back tomorrow. Back to back, but it won't be back to back TikTok. I'll be back tomorrow with another live video. YouTube, y'all probably can come watch it tomorrow night because I'm going to try to have this one up by tomorrow. But, so that means tomorrow night I will be live with my next video. So if y'all want to try to come see, everything is linked in the bios. Okay, love y'all. Bye.